Hello, my name is Scott Arthur. I'm the councillor for Collington, Oxgangs and Fairmile Head here in Edinburgh. You're probably watching this video on my Facebook page, and if you're a regular visitor to my Facebook page, and I hope you are, you'll be familiar with the ongoing debate about spaces for people in Edinburgh. Whether you're a big fan of spaces for people or absolutely hate it, and I see both of those extremes almost every day in my email inbox, I'm sure you'll accept that the council could have handled it in a much better way. In particular, I think they could have done more to communicate to residents like you and I about exactly what they were trying to do, and also involve them in the design of the schemes, and in fact, deciding whether or not the schemes were needed at all. I think and really that lack of consultation is really what's at the heart of some of the public dissatisfaction with how the Spaces for People programme has progressed over the last year or so. If you remember, Spaces for People started, the idea for it started really last springtime, when lockdown first started, and we were all allotted, I think it was 1 hour of exercise per day, and we just had to look at our windows, and all the pavements were full of people, not everywhere, but in a lot of places, taking this 1 hour of exercise. I think some people took more than 1 hour, and it was a fantastic time. The weather was great, and whenever you went out, there was lots of people just exploring the world around them. And in some places, the footpaths were so busy that people were forced into the road. More people were running than normal. I'm a keen runner myself, so it's good to see that. And likewise, it seemed that more people were cycling as well, and as a cyclist, it was good to see that too. So the Spaces for People scheme really tried to provide extra space for those people taking exercise at that time. And the policies were put in place in Edinburgh, from memory citing right, a committee in June last year. And really, we've been stuck with that approach from June last year until now. And I think most of it appreciate that things have changed since last June. The pandemic is still with us, and the day I'm recording this, we've found that there's still real issues in Glasgow, and let's hope Edinburgh doesn't follow suit. But things are improving, but we're not seeing the numbers of people on the footpaths, out walking, out cycling, or out running. In a way, that's a shame, because it was fantastic back then to see people taking that daily exercise around them. There was a great feel to it, and of course the weather was great as well. You can maybe hear the rain battering off the window in my room here. But things have moved on. So we're now at the stage with Spaces for People in Edinburgh, where some of the schemes are actually quite mature, and the council has a reasonable amount of data, not perfect, on how well they're performing and how well they've been used. And I've been sharing some of that for the local schemes that I have on my Facebook page and on my blog, so people will be familiar with that. I ran a consultation recently with the council on what should happen next with Spaces for People in terms of which schemes, if any, should become permanent. I'm due to get a confidential briefing on this on Monday. All the council groups, that's all the political groups in the council, apart from the group of independents who are treated slightly differently, because they're largely people who have upset people in other parties, so they often don't have the same access as the rest of us councillors to things, which is a deeply unfortunate situation, and is one I don't really like, to be honest. Most councillors, the parties, will get access to the draft consultation report next Friday, and then it'll go into the public domain in June, and then there'll be some discussion about that, and some decisions will be made about whether or not schemes should be made permanent, and what the process for that will be. So I thought I would put this video together just to say what I think before I see the consultation draft report, and before I get any briefing on it, just to say what I think should happen. And no doubt this short video will be hopelessly out of date by Monday when I actually see the briefing. but this is what I'm thinking. Apologies if you can hear my computer beeping away in the background. I'm just going to make myself smaller so you can see the slide behind me here, as if by magic, yeah. So really what I'm saying with this slide is the schemes really fall, we can divide the schemes, I think, once we see the consultation response, it should be able to divide the schemes really into 4 categories. So there'll be ones which the public have rejected and the council have rejected. So that's ones that perhaps aren't performing and people aren't using them and people don't like them. So clearly if no one's arguing to keep these really, then we should scrap these. So that's the red box there, number 4. Not sure why I started before, there's not much logic in that. At the other end of the extreme, there will be schemes, believe it or not, if you're really strongly against spaces for people, there will be schemes which the local residents do support and the council support. So that's box 1 there, that's the green box. And so what should happen with them, in most cases, to make them permanent, the council will have to bring forward what's called a TRO, and that's the legal process for making these changes to the roads or the footpaths permanent. So in most cases that's what will be needed. I hope that before the council does that, they seek money from the Scottish Government to improve the quality of these designs, because let's face it, all this plastic bolted to our footpaths and roadways doesn't look particularly great, and it's not very welcoming for people who are visiting Scotland's capital city. So let's hope we can improve the design and then put them through the TRO process. The TRO process does allow for the public to comment on the designs, so if people still have concerns about them, they will be able to comment on them, but that's very much looking for really substantial comments. So it's not about it being a public opinion survey. It's really looking for people to bring forward material concerns about the design which the council would have to respond to. So that's the normal process that the council follows for things like changing speed limits or introducing double yellow lines, etc. So that's the process will be followed. So for them, I'm saying that the design quality should be improved, and then it should go through that TRO process, which is a legal requirement actually in most cases. So where we'll have problems is for boxes 2 and 3, and that's for where, well, firstly let's look at where the council wants to progress a scheme but local residents aren't keen on it. So really what the council has to learn the mistakes it's made and realise that people have been left alienated because of the way it's progressed its schemes over the last year. So if there is schemes which the council is really keen to retain and improve through quality design, but the local residents are against it, then this is box 2. Really the council has to bring forward a range of options and seriously engage with local residents in the design of those schemes to try to reach a point where both the council and local residents are happy. And then that essentially, what I'm essentially doing is saying is we should go through a discussion, negotiations is the wrong word, a sort of co-design process with local residents and the council to get those schemes either into the type 1 category where both the council and the residents want it, or perhaps a type 4 category where neither the council nor the residents think it could be progressed, and then on that basis we can deal with those schemes. The council, I think it would be a mistake for the council to be in a position where it's pushing forward schemes that local residents don't want. It really has to work with local communities to rebuild that trust. Perhaps a less common scenario might be that the council is against the scheme going forward, but local residents see some value in it. So in that case, again, I don't think the council should be in the position where it's dictating terms to local residents. I think sometimes councillors forget that we're here, and hopefully I don't forget this, we're here to represent people rather than dictate to them. So if there is schemes where local residents want them kept but the council don't, again the council has to engage with the public there. They have to speak to the public to understand what it is about these schemes that people want to keep, And again, the council should enter a co-design process with local residents with the aim of getting those schemes either into category 1, so that's where both the council and local residents see value in them, or category 4, where really we're talking about neither party agreeing a way forward or agreeing that their approach there, so there it would be scrapped. So what I'm trying to say with this framework, if we're brave enough to call it a framework, is that really the council has to reflect on what's been happening over the past year, realise that people have been left feeling alienated and disenfranchised, and really take steps towards trying to rebuild trust. And we have to work towards either getting these schemes in a position where there's support from local residents and there's support from the council, and we take forward a quality design, none of this plastic bolted to the road, something high quality, something we can be proud of, or we put the schemes in the category where neither party thinks they have a future, and then we can just really scrap them if that's what's agreed. The council can't be in a position where it's forcing these schemes on communities that doesn't want them. I mean, that's my opinion today, but we'll see what the consultation says next week about how people say that should progress. And it's worth one last point is, whilst my 4-step process here is perhaps a bit simplistic, and I realise we're never going to get to the state where all of the community is speaking in one and all agreeing that either a scheme should go or stay. I really do think that the council has a duty in those situations where there is a diversity of opinions in local community, and that is happening right across the city. The council really does have a duty to facilitate debate around these schemes, trying to improve the designs, trying to communicate what it's trying to achieve, and also understand what local residents want. And I think taking that approach, we will get to the stage where either there's broad consensus, perhaps not unanimity, it's hard to say on a Friday afternoon, there's broad consensus about how to proceed, either scrapping the scheme or making it permanent. Okay, so I'll wrap this up here. As I said, this should be on my Facebook page, so feel free to leave a comment about how awfully wrong I am and how out of touch I am, or perhaps even you agree with at least some of what I've said. I'll be really interested to hear about what people think, and please try to engage constructively. I know the vast majority of people on my Facebook page do that, but I get so tired elsewhere, particularly on Twitter, where spaces of people is just an endless to and fro between people who are never going to agree on a way forward. So hopefully, at least locally as a community, we can agree on a way forward with this. Okay, bye for now.